Hi, welcome to today's session on fixed income. We'll be covering reading 62, that is the overview of bond sectors and instrument. This is not much testable topic from the CFA level 1 examination point of view, but it gives you a very good understanding of the bond sectors. So anybody who is like interested in knowing what are the type of bonds available, how they are traded in the market, this reading is provide with good understanding. Okay, so let's start with the type of bonds that are available. So first we'll start with sovereign bond. Are the bonds issued by the government. The government can issue the bond in domestic as well as foreign currency. So consider a Indian government, it can issue bond in Indian rupee as well as foreign currency like USD. Now Indian government can print as much domestic currency like Indian rupee. So the domestic currency debt is considered to be risk free, whereas the government cannot print US dollars. So the foreign currency denominated debt are riskier, somewhat riskier than domestic currency debt. Okay, but very less risky than corporate bonds. Now the government is in constant need of money, so they have regular cycle for issuing this bond. So one of the method is regular cycle auction, wherein a single price is decided. So these bidders are like government dealers who place bids for buying the government bond. So the bids are collected from these dealers, and whichever is the highest bid, okay, that is decided as the price for the bond issue, and all the dealers are assigned the bond or sold the bond at that particular price. Whereas you have multiple price auction also, where the bond is allocated as per the price which is being bid by that particular bidder. Okay. Also government has ad hoc system wherein bonds are issued as and when the funds are required by the government. Okay. There is one more system which is called as TAP system. Now in this system, the government issues bond which is very much similar to the previous one. Okay, and they have like allocated some amount of issue, and out of that amount some part is issued regularly. In US you have also what is called as treasury securities. So these are issued by the Department of Treasury. In treasury security you have treasury bills. So treasury bills are those bonds which are up till a maturity of 1 year. So you will find treasury bills of 4 weeks, you will find treasury bills of 3 months and 6 months. Okay, so typically like 28 days, 90 days, 180 days treasury bills are available. Okay. Then you have treasury notes and bonds. These treasury notes are bonds which are of maturity from 1 to 10 year, whereas bonds are having maturity of more than 10 years. Okay. Now these bonds, they pay semi-annual coupon and they are quoted in 30 seconds. That is, the price is not quoted in decimal. So the price would be like 98.16 by 32. That means the price would be 98 plus 16 by 32, that is 0.5. So the price would be 98.5. Okay. Now you will see that there are treasury, since the treasury securities are issued regularly, there are some issues which are traded more frequently in the market. So these are the issues which are most recently issued. So these are called as on the run security. Similarly, you have off the run security which are older issues. Okay, that is, they have been like issued in the past and the trading is not much. When you have like some issues which are very old, they are called as well off the run security. Okay, so these are very old issues and trading is very less, or liquidity is very low. Okay. Treasury issues one more security which is inflation protected. Okay, these are called as treasury inflation protected security, or TIPS. These security protect the investor from increase in inflation. This security makes semi-annual payment. Okay. The coupon is paid semi-annually. The face value or the par value is adjusted for the inflation. Inflation is measured by consumer price index. Now, whenever there is an increase in inflation, the par value is increased. That is, if there is an inflation, the par values increase. Whereas if there is a deflation, that is decrease in the price value, par values decrease. However, like it can become less than $1,000. Is the face value of tips, but at maturity, if the value is less than $1,000, that is the adjusted par value is less than $1,000 will be paid as the amount. Okay, actually it will become less than $1,000 when like you have continuous deflation. However, at maturity, the face value cannot be paid less than $1,000. Okay, now how the coupon payment is being done? Coupon payment is coupon rate by 2, because there are 2 coupon payments into adjusted par value. Remember that this adjusted par value can be different than $1,000. Okay, so this is how the tips make the coupon payment. Now, if you see the treasury bonds or the notes available, we have seen that treasury bills are less than 6 months and they are discounted bonds. But for notes and bonds, treasury do not issue, like for more than 1 year, treasury do not issue any zero coupon bond or discounted bonds. So what the dealer do is they strip out coupon and principal from the treasury bonds to create what is called as zero coupon bonds. Okay, so that means if a bond is available in the market, it is stripped into coupon and principal. So consider a bond which is trading. Okay, so it is a 2-year bond, so it will pay first coupon, second, third, and at the fourth it will pay face value as well as coupon. So what is being done is it is stripped and it is 4 bonds are created. In fact, 5 bonds are created. So first bond will pay coupon. Let's say if the coupon of this is 8%. Okay, so the first bond will be paying a coupon of $4. So at the end of 6 months, so this becomes a zero coupon bond having face value of $4. Another bond, zero coupon bond, will be created which will have again the coupon of $4, but it will be paying after 2 years, so 2 period or 1 year. So there will be another zero coupon bond created having a maturity of 1 year paying a face value of $4. Another bond would be created which will pay after 1.5 year $4. Another bond will be created which will pay $4 after 4 periods or 2 years, and a bond is created which will pay you $100 after 4 period or 2 years. So this treasury bond is split into 4 coupon strip and 1 principal strip. So this is called as principal strip and these 4 are called as coupon strip. So any treasury bond which has n number of coupons will be broken down into n number of coupon strip and 1 principal strip. The treasury recognizes this and it has created a special program called as strip, that is separate trading of registered interest and principal securities. So it has assigned some dealers to break that bond and start trading them separately. This is very much useful for some of the bond traders who want to invest only in the zero coupon bonds. Okay, so if you have a 5-year treasury bond, it will be broken down into 1 principal strip and 10 coupon strips. So you will have a total of 11 strip that will be created. Okay. Now, apart from government and treasury, there are some government agency. So they issue what is called as agency security. So they issue agencies debt securities. Typically they issue debentures. Okay. Now debentures are unsecured bond, that is they are not secured. So what happens is to enhance this unsecured bond, they provide some credit enhancement measures. Okay, But let's see what are these agencies. These agencies can be government owned agency, or it can be government sponsored agencies. So institutions like GNMA, GNMA are owned by the government, and some agencies like Sallie Mae, etc., they are sponsored agencies. Okay, so the bond issued by government owned institute are risk free because government owns them, and as we have seen that government bonds issued in the same currency is risk free. But government sponsored agency bonds are not entirely risk free. They do carry a little credit risk because government may not honor the obligation. It is not mandatory for the government to honor the obligation. But what we have seen in the past, that government bailed out two of the sponsored agencies like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So these were government sponsored agencies and they had issued bonds. Government had bailed out this, so it becomes like a moral obligation of the government to bail out government sponsored agencies. So that's why the bond, even though they are unsecured, they carry a high credit rating, high rating, bond rating, because the fact that it is backed by the US government. Okay. Now we'll come across another type of security which are called as mortgage backed securities. Okay, the terminology is mortgage backed. Okay, so these securities are backed by the mortgage. So what are the mortgage? Mortgage are the home loans. Okay, so in this what happens is there are pools of mortgages created. So let's say you have a city, okay, where there are like 100 home owners. So they have taken small home loans. Okay, so they have taken all home loans. So this is a pool of mortgage. Okay, out of this what happens? So what happens is these loans are being sponsored by some banks, etc. So some third party buys these loans from those banks and create a pool. So this is a pool of loan, specifically mortgage loan, and from this pool what they do is they create bonds. Okay, so they will issue bonds out of this pool, and these bonds are sold to investors. So these bonds are sold to investors. So investors do not know what is the underlying loan structure, but they know, okay, these are the bonds issued from this mortgage pool. Okay, so this pool will pay periodically principal and it will pay interest, plus if there are any prepayment. So excess principal payment are the cash flows to these bonds which are paid to the investors. Okay, so this process wherein which bonds are created from a mortgage pool is called as securitization process. Okay, now what happens is in a securitization, since you have lots of home loans, they are collected, it decreases the risk, because a single loan is much riskier than a combined pool of loans. Of course here, like if all the loans are of like same type, like same type of borrower, etc., then risk is not that much decreased, but there is still a decrease in the risk. So as a result what happens is these bonds carry a good credit rating. Okay, also since these credit ratings are good, investors are willing to buy these bonds even though they are yielding lesser. So the interest rate that these homeowners pay is less. So there are two benefits. One is it decreases the risk, and it also lowers the cost of borrowing for homeowners. Okay, now in mortgage backed securities you will find that there are three types of securities. One is mortgage pass through, another is stripped mortgage backed securities, the third one is CMO or collateralized mortgage obligation. Out of this the most complex is the CMO, which we will see later. Okay, so what are pass through securities? In pass through, the name suggests pass through, that means whatever was the structure of the pool, so this was the pool, so pool pays cash, right, and you have bonds. Okay, and then you have investors. So here are your investors. So whatever is cash received from this pool, it is passed on to the investors. Of course, there are some intermediaries which will take some commission out of it. So some cash is paid out to what is called as intermediaries. Okay, so part of the cash goes to intermediaries, most of the cash goes to investors. Okay, now in this, if there is any prepayment is passed to the investors. Okay, so in this, if there is any default, then the investors receive lesser cash. So in this case, what happens is investor is still exposed to prepayment risk, still exposed to default risk. So investor is exposed to prepayment and default risk, which is proportional to the pool. So if the whatever the pool is paying, it is, this bond is just passing that to the investors. Okay, so there is nothing different than getting individual cash flows. But yeah, since this is pooled, the risk becomes lesser. Okay, now we know that mortgage is kind of amortizing loan, right? So mortgage is an amortizing loan, so it will pay off principal plus interest plus any extra principal that is being paid. Okay, so people, what they have done is they have stripped the mortgage backed securities to create what is called as stripped mortgage backed securities. So in that you have what is called as principal only strip, and then you have interest only strip. Okay, so if some investor is looking only for the interest payment, they will invest in interest only strip. Some people who are interested in getting the principal payment, they will invest in principal only strip.